We're here with Gaerea in Toronto. They're touring right now across North America, playing all sorts of different cities. So check out the description of this video to find out the dates for this amazing tour. They're back in North America. But let me ask you before we talk about this tour, last tour, what did you guys learn on that Rotting Christ tour that you feel like it's really going to help you this time around?
Bring more winter jackets if you're doing in February. And other than that, I mean, we had a crazy time. We learned a lot with Rotting Christ. They were super kind to us, sharing their gear with us and letting us do our show the way we do it or we're doing it in Europe. I mean, it was just phenomenal to work with them and kind of Hangar and even Water being like road dogs and just touring their asses off. We learned quite a bit on how touring in the States is, and I believe this time around we're a bit more prepared, even like merch units wise. I mean, we thought, I mean, people told us that merchandise sales were big in the States and in Canada, but we still thought like, all right, well, maybe these numbers will be okay, and then it weren't. So like small logistics, we're a bit more prepared, and we learned quite a bit there. But yeah, it feels amazing to be here again.
The North American market, is it a difficult market, but a necessary market for you guys in terms of hitting success on this side of the Atlantic?
Oh, fuck yeah. I mean, there's nothing as huge as the music industry in the States or in North America. I mean, you got to do it. I mean, I mean, if you don't do it, you're just missing out on what, like 70 or 80% of I'll put it in numbers, like 80% of the people that listen to us on Spotify are from North America. We need to come here and play for those people and make this community grow. It's important.
How many albums away do you feel you are from perhaps a headlining tour across North America, considering how successful the last tour was, as good as this one is going, like you said, the merch numbers?
I don't know, man. I try not to think much of that, so I don't. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it all depends on what we're doing now and what the new album will be like. I mean, the stakes are high, and we're gonna aim for something twice as big all the time as it's been happening since Limbo, and we'll see. I mean, I don't know. It's a very harsh and difficult question to answer. I don't know. I hope it's just one, but I mean, we don't think much about that. I mean, if we can go on tour with a bigger band and on the next one and the next one, and we can still grow our production and keep showing these audiences and these promoters and these bookers and these bands that we deserve to be more and more, that's what we're here to do.
We have a saying in Portugal, Santos do pé da porta não fazem milagres. How do you see the band in the reception that you have from those bookers, from those promoters in Portugal versus what you see outside?
I mean, Portugal is still Portugal will always be a very small country when it comes to extreme music and supporting extreme music. I think people do what they can, even though sometimes they don't know how they can do way better. But I think it's mostly because we have this social economics and ethic part of being a Portuguese musician, where people still see it too much as a hobby and less as a struggle and as an investment. And I mean, it's very rare to see a band that just hops in the van and just go do their own European tour like we did a few years ago. And all of that just like stops the flow of amazing bands that we have going overseas or going to whatever, playing a festival in Poland or something like that, where people could actually love it and just not, they will never know about it. And I mean, about promoters and all that, I mean, still, it's a very small scene. We were fortunate enough to work with some of the best ones in Portugal already, and we were treated very well. And I mean, it's mandatory for us to go to Portugal every now and then, at least once a year. But yeah, at this point, we know that we can't be in Portugal all the time. We can't play in Portugal more than once a year because it's still how do I say it in English? The change of audience takes too much time because it's such a slow growing scene. There's what, 10,000 real metalheads, and you see them all if you go to Vagos or Barroselas. And it takes like at least 5 years for new kids to arrive.
It, yeah.
And we saw that in the pandemic. I mean, the audience of 2019 is very different from the one in 2022, where you see these new kids with all like brand new battle vest, no beer in the battle vest whatsoever, and they just like grew in the pandemic, and now they were flashing into the concerts and enjoying music. And it was great to see in the last show we did in Portugal, and not just Portugal, other countries. But it takes a bit more time for Portugal, and not just Portugal, Greece, Italy. We're in the same line of countries that need to struggle quite a bit more to be seen, and that also reflects in the audience, in my opinion.
Now, I would argue that since Moonspell, you guys are the first Portuguese band to really make it outside the borders of Portugal. People talk about you guys all over the place. It doesn't matter. Wherever I go with a shirt, people always approach me. Everybody knows who the band is. What do you attribute to that? Obviously, the hard work that you guys put in, but is there any other element that you see that allows you guys to be able to have that recognition already beyond Portugal?
I mean, I would say that we put quite a unique show. I mean, we're very truthful to what we feel on stage, very truthful to what we write in these lyrics. We truly believe in these things, and I think that transpires and bleeds through the audience by the way we showcase ourselves. And again, we just work harder than a lot of bands. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that. I always said that about even when we were growing quite a bit more in our home country. We're just working more. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that our music is better. I actually don't think so. I think there's way more music of way smaller artists in Portugal that they just don't work hard enough, because I think their music is way better than ours. We choose to listen to these artists here. It's just that, again, I'm not ashamed to say it. We just work fucking hard.
I saw you guys last time when you guys were here with Rotting Christ talking about performances. Your performance on stage is like a show within the show. How much of that is you really working on it, and how much of that is just who you are as an individual?
I think this is who we are. I mean, we barely rehearse these days because we live in different countries, but we do prepare a lot. In order to come from a tour, we rehearse at home, we prepare files, we prepare all of these things in order to make this all as smooth as we can. But all the rest, I mean, what you see on stage, the show performance, it's how we grow as artists. I mean, it changes, and it will be more extreme in some shows, and it will be more intimate in other shows. But it's just who we are. We never think about it. I mean, we never have talks about like, oh, today let's do it more like this. I mean, it's just the way we are. And I think that's what makes us quite a unique project, because I think what we do separates a bit from a lot of things happening in this genre and in extreme music, because we're not afraid to dance on stage. I mean, I don't fucking care. This is how we feel this song, this music that we do. And we have no filters on what we do on stage. I mean, nothing is about showing off. It's just how we feel the music that we write. And that also changes as we play these 200 shows in just a year or something. It changes in that period, and changes into something more extreme, or something more contemplative, or something more intimate. It's just, as we grow as individuals and artists, this happens very naturally for us.
So does the show on stage become a more visual expression of what the listener gets when they put the vinyl on their record player at home?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, our work only stops after we tour the album. It doesn't stop with the mastering of the files. It doesn't stop when songs get into YouTube and Spotify. It continues throughout the tour. I don't think it makes sense to experiencing Gaerea only with your vinyl and your Spotify in your car. I mean, of course, it's a massive thing for us, but if I can get all these people to come to the shows and witness the whole thing, I think it will also give them a very different perspective of what they're listening to.
One last question for you. With all of those shows, like you said, 200 shows, you guys touring all over the place, Europe, North America, Asia, all over. How are you going to find time to work on the next album?
Dude, I'm recording pre-production vocals in this van every morning. It's, I mean, the new album is quite ready. It's fully written. Right after this, we're going to the studio for a whole month in Portugal to work with Miguel. Again, our beloved fake 6th or 7th member. And right after that, we have another tour in Spain. And then between touring cycles, we're going to do all the videos to whatever, Poland or Sweden. I mean, this is our life now, and this has become our professional life, and it needs planning. It needs. I mean, we planned on recording in the van because we wouldn't have that much time, and when we come home in November, we have this whole month, but we need to prepare for other stuff. There's a shop to run. There's music to be prepared for the studio. So we're always constantly working in different aspects, and if it means recording pre-productions in the van quite early in the morning before we hop onto the next venue, we fucking do it.
Definitely the hardest working band out there. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Guys, on the description of this video, the tour dates are going to be there, so go check them out right now in North America with Hoaxed, Wolves in the Throne Room, and Black Braid. Go check them out.